Jeremy Clarkson has admitted that he is frequently given a talking down by farmers, as well as TV bosses. Former Top Gear presenter Jeremy Clarkson has revealed that while it may not always be shown, he is forever being told off. It comes as the presenter launches his latest Amazon Prime series, Clarkson's Farm. Jeremy Clarkson, 61, who swapped the dazzling lights of the city to live a life in the countryside, is no stranger to shouting at his co-stars, something he admits is always shown on screens. However, the Doncaster-born presenter also revealed that while he may be seen doing some of the shouting himself, bosses and those who know what they're doing are forever shouting at him. Jeremy's farming tutor later admitted that the Grand Tour presenter would often ignore orders and switch off. While it may not be something that fans of Jeremy are used to seeing, Jeremy admits that he is no longer shocked when people shout at him. In a new podcast, the outspoken presenter said, "I get shouted at all the time, I'm constantly being shouted at by newspapers and bosses, I'm always being shouted at." He went on to acknowledge that it's the usual to see him on screens shouting at other people. "But in real life, you get shouted out by people who know what they're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I know best, and then, of course, you realize you don't know best, you must listen," he explained. Speaking on Sky News' Backstage podcast, Jeremy went on to admit that after purchasing his farm in 2008, he began to realize that he didn't know anything about farming, before saying that any previous insights came from the news. Discussing his latest television venture, he said, "I thought we'd do a straight farming program. This is a medium-sized farm. It's not particularly big and it's not particularly small, growing what almost everybody grows around here anyway. And this is farming, and it's not the caricature of Jeremy Clarkson, it's actually Jeremy Clarkson. It's not the one that falls over and catches fire, it's the one who gets shouted out all day long," he admits. Jeremy later added that he has no regrets about launching his farming career, despite a somewhat turbulent year. Since kicking off his new venture, the world plummeted into lockdown amidst the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. The past 12 months have also smashed 5 weather records with a wet autumn and a blistering spring. Following the sudden influx of downpours over the past year, Jeremy painfully admitted that he has struggled to have seeds in the ground. Speaking to Express.co.uk, he said, "I mean, the BBC is running a lot of farming programs, there's obviously an appetite for them." Jeremy continued, "I just felt that, if I may be serious, farming gets a bad rap. There's 2 ways farming is covered on TV, ordinarily. One is American industrial farming and we're told, you know, the news reports of these awful huts for cows that stretch for hundreds of acres in every direction. And then the other is Kate Humble, Springwatch host, with a newly born lamb in fresh straw, and the reality is that most British farming is sort of in between. It's actually pretty good."